सरसीरुहाम्बकी देवी तव चरणाश्रितजन ज्ञानप्रदायिनी सरसीरुहाम्बकी देवी वाणी वागभिमानी वीणा पुस्तकपाणी वाणी वागभिमानी वीणा पुस्तकपाणी माणिक्यरत्नाभरणी कल्याणी सरसीरुहाम्बकी देवी लोकनायकरमणी राकेन्दुनिभवदने लोकनायकरमणी राकेन्दुनिभवदने शोकमोह विनाशिनी जननी सरसीरुहाम्बकी देवी तव चरणाश्रितजन ज्ञानप्रदायिनी सरसीरुहाम्बकी देवी अक्षररूपिणी अखिल विश्वजननी अक्षररूपिणी अखिल विश्वजननी लक्ष्मी नारायणी आहे ब्रह्माणी लक्ष्मी नारायणी आहे ब्रह्माणी
सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति देव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः। Let us chant up to 12. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. अथ द्वादशोऽध्यायः भक्ति योगः। Arjuna uvacha evam satatayuktaye bhaktas-tvam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam-avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Shri Bhagavan uvacha maya veshyamano ye mam nityayukta upasate te me yuktatamamataha ye tvaksharam-nirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyam cha kūtasthamachalam dhruvam sanniyamyendriyagramam sarvatra samabuddhayah. Kleshodhikatarastesham avyaktasaktachetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadbhiravapyate ye tu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha mayyeva mana adhatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayyeva ata urdhvam na samshayah atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mayi sthiram abhyasa yogena tatah mamichhaptum abhyasepya samarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madarthamapi karmani kurvan siddhimavapsyasi athaitadapyashaktosi kartum madyogamashritah sarva-karma-phala-tyāgam tatah kuruyatatmavan shreyo hi jnānam-abhyāsāt jnānādhyānam vishishyate dhyānāt karma-phala-tyāgah tyāgāt śhantiranantaram. So in chapter 12, Bhagavan gives various levels of sadhanas for us to practice. So what is the first one? First and the highest is called as Nirguna Nirakara Dhyana or Vedantic meditation. So what do? We witness the thoughts. What happens when the thoughts are witnessed? Thoughts die down, including the ego thought also. Once the ego thought also dies down, what remains is pure consciousness. This is the highest, but it requires lot of purity. So if that is difficult or impossible, go for the next level, level number 4. What is the level number 4? Saguna Nirakara. Akara means form. So Nirakara means formless. Saguna means attributes. Saguna Nirakara Upasana. So here now it becomes Upasana. Upasana means now you have to form an idea, form a concept of God. So every situation in life you have to consider it as coming with a message. Coming with a message from God. And there is a purpose in every situation. And what is the purpose? Bhagavan wants to help us evolve and ultimately reach Him. So here you are meditating upon God as all compassionate, omniscient, our creator, our father, our mother, ever ready, ever anxious to help us. So this is Saguna Nirakara Upasana. But if this also is difficult, then go for next one, Saguna Sakara Upasana or Ishta Devata Upasana or Ekarupa Ishvara Upasana. So what do? You take an idol. Your Ishta Devata you have to invoke, maybe Rama or Krishna or Ganesha. So in that idol you meditate. So where will you get the materials for meditation? You get the materials from the Puranas. So how does that Bhagavan look like? Description is given. Where does the Bhagavan stay? Description is given. What are the Leelas of that Lord? Description is given. So now what you do? You again and again mentally imagine, contemplate upon the Leelas of the Lord. So now here you are given lot of freedom for the mind to roam about. Unlike the first one, where you don't have any freedom, you don't take any support of the mind also. So that is Saguna Sakara Upasana. But even for that Upasana, little bit of purity is needed, because Upasana means it is a mental activity. Mental activity is always difficult. So if that is also difficult, then go for the next. Level number 2. From 5 we have started. 5, 4, 3, 2. What is level number 2? Nishkama Karma Yoga. So enter into the field of action. So with what attitude should we perform action? Our duties have to be performed. Duties are nothing but Panchamahayajnas. Perform your duties as best as you can, as a worship of the Lord, for the welfare of all, keeping the bigger picture in mind and accepting all results as prasadam from the Lord, and performing actions without selfishness, without ego and egocentric desires. This is Nishkama Karma Yoga, which is level number 2. But now someone may say, Bhagavan, that is also difficult for me, because I don't have that Nishkamata. I have lot of Kama. Kama means desires. I have lot of desires for the world. My son has to get married, my daughter has to get married, I have to build a house. Swamiji, you don't know how much of problems are there. It is easy for you to talk about Nishkama Karma, etc. I have lot of desires. So then Bhagavan says, don't worry, you also have a particular sadhana to perform. And what is that? Sakama Karma Yoga. Use God as a means. At this stage of evolution, you can't accept God as a goal. At this stage of evolution, you can't think of moksha, etc. You have no desire. Don't be a hypocrite, telling God, I don't want anything. There are many people who feel that asking God is a sin. Asking God about anything worldly is a sin. It is not so. There is nothing wrong in asking. In fact, if you become a hypocrite, that is wrong. You have all desires in the mind and you are not asking God. Then that is wrong. Never be a hypocrite. In front of God, whatever desires you have, present it to Him. Then Bhagavan Himself will give you the best way of fulfilling those desires. Whenever you take your desires to God, He will give you the best means to attain those desires. So then what happens when you take your desires to God? Number one, He will give you the best solution. That's the first advantage. Advantage number 2, the moment you come to know that Bhagavan is fulfilling your desires, you will never become arrogant. You will become humble. It is by God's grace that I got. It is by God's grace that I got those resources. It is by God's grace that I got that ability, physical ability, mental ability, intellectual ability, all those abilities I have got from God. So naturally what happens? You become more and more humble. But suppose you fulfill your desires without taking the help of God, what will happen? You become arrogant. So when you take your problems to God, number 1, you will get the best solutions from God. Number 2, in the process you become humble. Number 3, in the process your faith in God becomes strong. And number 4, your love for God also increases. And the best part is, in the process slowly your desires for the world starts coming down. The worldly attractions will no more will no more have a hold on you. Slowly Bhagavan will start becoming more and more attractive than the world. So slowly you will be able to withdraw your mind from the world and fix it in the Lord. So therefore the final one is called sakama karma yoga. Why is it called yoga? Though your goal is not God, though your goal is not moksha, it is still called yoga because you take assistance from God in fulfilling your desires. It is still yoga. Yoga means to unite. You are uniting with God in order to fulfill those desires. So therefore Bhagavan in verse number 11, what is his advice? Mad yogam ashritaha, taking refuge in my yoga, meaning using me to fulfill your desires. It is not a sin. Bhagavan doesn't consider it as a sin because this is how we all have to evolve. We are all at different stages of evolution. At different stages of evolution, we need, or it is but natural to have desires for the world. Just like the child in the womb. That 9-10 months the child needs the womb. So in the same way, for us to evolve in the world, this world is necessary. Attraction towards world is natural. But what does Bhagavan say? Yatatmavan. Try to fulfill your desires of the world legitimately, lawfully, following the path of dharma, and at the same time putting forth your hard work, using all your abilities given by God, physical, mental, intellectual, you put forth all your effort, then Bhagavan himself will fulfill all those desires. Yatatmavan. At the same time, what is the condition? Sarva-phala-tyāgam. This is important. What does it mean? It means always remember God is your well-wisher, not your wish fulfiller. This has to be kept in mind. Because though you may pray to God for a particular desire, whether that particular desire is good for you or not, whatever you are asking, whether that thing is good for you or not, you don't know. Because our understanding about the world is finite, very limited. We are all immature, we are all children. So therefore, leave it to God. Whatever He decides, let it happen. O Lord, may Thy will be done. This is called karma-phala-tyāga. So let God play a role in molding you. So God doesn't feel bad that you have made God a means only and not the end. He will not feel bad. So when you construct a house, if you can't have a puja room, at least keep the photo under the staircase. Under the staircase. He will accept it. But let there be a place for God. And then say, Bhagavan, this is your house. We are just tenants. So that also Bhagavan accepts. Okay. So this is the last one, sakama karma yoga. Now see, this is one thing which every one of us can practice. Yes or no? No qualification is necessary. Your desires for the world, that is also accepted. This is something which at least this we must practice. So now you will find that every one of us in this world, they are taken care. According to your level, you can practice this sadhana. So now in the 11th, since Bhagavan says that karma-phala-tyāgam kuru, at least do that. So naturally one may feel karma-phala-tyāgam is the lowest one. Suddenly Bhagavan puts this as the highest. And what is the logic? Bhagavan says, higher than Shravana is Manana, higher than Manana is Nididhyasana. Shravana means listening to scriptures. So you may listen to the scriptures, you may have gained some knowledge, but that knowledge is full of doubts. So compared to the knowledge filled with doubts, Manana is better. Manana means reflection and removing the doubts. So the knowledge, doubtless knowledge is better than doubtful knowledge. But higher than doubtless knowledge is the knowledge which you put into practice, the knowledge which has become wisdom. So Nididhyasana means trying to practice, trying to transform our personality through meditation. But then Bhagavan says higher than that is karma-phala-tyāga, highest. Why does Bhagavan say so? Bhagavan says so because even the greatest seeker, the most capable seeker also, at the seat of meditation, he has to drop this desire for the goal. His desire is liberation, his desire is enlightenment. So as long as he is holding on to that desire, sometimes even that desire itself can become an obstacle. Because when you are holding on to the desire, remember, desirer alone can hold on to the desire. So when you are holding on to the desire, what is happening? You are strengthening the existence of desirer. So as long as the desirer is alive, total merging in the Lord is impossible, because desirer is the ego. So when you are strengthening the desire, you are strengthening the ego. You are not allowing the ego to dissolve. So thus this desire itself can become the greatest obstruction. So therefore Bhagavan says, therefore, which is the highest sadhana? Karma-phala-tyāgam is the highest sadhana. So Bhagavan says, why karma-phala-tyāgam is the highest sadhana? Because the moment you do this karma-phala-tyāgam, what follows immediately is peace. And what is it that we want? Even the greatest yogi also wants one thing. What is that? Peace. Isn't it? So you will find that karma-phala-tyāga, the one who knows how to do it, he will be peaceful throughout his life. All through when he performs sadhana, if this one quality you have, karma-phala-tyāga, your mind will be peaceful. To put it simply, O Bhagavan, whatever you do is perfect. I have no complaints. This is karma-phala-tyāga. I accept every command of yours, every decision of yours. I accept everything that happens to my life, whether good or bad. This total acceptance is karma-phala-tyāga, and then you will find the mind becoming peaceful. So thus Bhagavan winds up the topic of sadhana. Now Bhagavan takes up another topic. What is the topic? What happens to a person who evolves this way? By following these 5 steps of sadhana, what happens to him? Naturally he becomes a siddha. Siddha means a perfected one. A sadhaka who performs sadhana to attain the sadhya ultimately becomes a siddha. What is his siddhi is what is being described. Siddhi means attainment. What are the characteristics of a devotee? Now here the chapter's name is Bhakti Yoga. Now you may wonder why the name has been given Bhakti Yoga. This name is given Bhakti Yoga because all these 5 levels of sadhanas can be practiced only if you have bhakti towards God. Bhakti is understood. Even the highest nirguna nirakara dhyana also bhakti is understood. That is bhakti towards this pure consciousness. So all these 5 sadhanas cannot be performed without bhakti. These sadhanas may be, one or the other sadhana may be performed without jnana. It may be performed without karma also. But it cannot be performed without bhakti. So therefore in the Vedas we don't have a separate path called Bhakti Yoga. At the most in the Vedas you will find Karma Yoga, you will find Upasana Yoga, you will find Jnana Yoga. You don't find Bhakti Yoga. So people may wonder why Bhakti Yoga is not there in the Vedas. It is not there because it is understood. Without bhakti nothing is possible. Without love nothing is possible. No sadhana is possible. So therefore a special mention has not been given. So here the chapter's name is Bhakti Yoga because all this, in essence, if you want to give one name for the sadhana, you can give the name Bhakti Yoga. It is nothing but love. It is nothing but devotion. As your love matures towards God, the bhakti also matures, and ultimately this bhakti itself merges in jnana, knowing that I am not different from God. Highest bhakti is nirguna nirakara dhyana. That is the highest bhakti. Greatest devotion you can have to God only when you know that you are not different from God. That is the greatest devotion. Because whom do I love the most? Myself. Isn't it? Everyone, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, whom do they love? We all love ourselves the most. So when can the bhakti be the highest? Bhakti to God can be the highest only when I become equal to God. Isn't it so? That is the highest, level number 5. When is the love for God the minimum? Level number 1, where I love God for something else. So from the lowest level of bhakti to the highest level of bhakti, we travel from level 1 to level 5. So now what happens to such a bhakta is what is going to be described. So here we have to understand siddhasya lakshanani sadhakasya sadhanani. Meaning that which is natural to a siddha, a perfected man, is a sadhana for the sadhakas. So now here we are going to have from 12 to 20, we are going to have a list of virtues which a siddha, for a siddha it is natural, but for a sadhaka he has to practice it. So now we are having some, I think 35 or so. Yes, 36. 36 virtues being mentioned. Let us chant 13 and 14. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitrah karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankarah samadukha sukakshami santushtas satatam yogi yatatma dridha nischayah mayyarpita mano buddhihi yo madbhaktas same priyah adveshta sarva bhutanam maitrah karuna eva cha nirmamo nirahankarah samadukha sukhakshami santushtas satatam yogi yatatma dridha nischayah mayyarpita mano buddhihi yo madbhaktas same priyah. So how do you know whether you are progressing in spirituality or not? See whether these qualities, these virtues grow in you. So these virtues can be a test to know whether we are progressing in spirituality. So first one, adveshta sarva-bhutanam. Sarva-bhutanam adveshta. Adveshta means what? Non-hater. One who doesn't hate. Only human beings? No. Sarva-bhutanam, all beings. So there is no hatred in his heart. So the question number one is it possible? Is it possible? Or rather, the question can be put in a different way. What is the different way? Swamiji, this person has got such and such vices. You cannot but hate him. Definitely in our life we would have come across some or the other people whom we naturally tend to hate. Now the question is, does hatredness solve the problem? What happens when the heart entertains this vice called hatredness? What happens? Is the mind peaceful or disturbed? It is disturbed, isn't it? So now as far as a sadhaka is concerned, any disturbance is a coded message from God. What is the message? You are wrong. You are wrong. Full stop. So the moment you entertain, maybe you have lot of justification. Because of this reason I am hating that person. You may have any number of justification, but ultimate conclusion is your mind is disturbed. And the disturbance is an indication that God is not happy with you. Simple. So at the seat of meditation, what are you supposed to do? In the beginning, you will be giving lot of justification. But if you are a really matured sadhaka, you must keep your mouth shut. Bhagavan, I am sorry. I have no right to hate anyone on this planet. I have no right. Everyone will have some or the other imperfection, some or the other weakness. Even I also have plenty of weakness. Instead of trying to find out the weaknesses in others, I should try to find out weakness in myself. Remember, every one of us, we are evolving. Evolving means what? We have not yet evolved. We have not yet evolved means what? We will have enough number of weaknesses. So, the moment the mind entertains this thought of hatred, the first thought that should come to a sadhaka is, Bhagavan, I am sorry. This negative thought is there, I will try my best to overcome it. It is said that this dvesha is something like an acid which corrodes the very container itself. What happens to the container which carries the acid? That container itself is corroded, isn't it? Damaged. Hatred, that feeling of hatred is also something like that. If you are a sadhaka, you will convert this as a means to develop devotion for God. How? Bhagavan, thank you for guiding me. I had taken a wrong path, you are guiding me with this pain. Thank you very much. Now see, now what has happened? You have developed a link with God. You have decoded the message and you have found a means to communicate with God. Isn't it? So what you are supposed to do, a simple thing is, whomever you are hating, mentally prostrate unto him. Bring that person in mind, fall at his feet. Say sorry for entertaining negative thoughts against you. This we can do, isn't it? Physically going and doing may be difficult and sometimes impossible also. Because of social status, this and that. But at least mentally we can do this. And the moment you do that, you will find the mind becoming clear. That disturbance going away. Again, what does it mean? It means that Bhagavan is pleased with you. See, this is how, every situation can be converted into a sadhana. Adveshta Sarva-bhutanam. Then what should be the attitude which we must have with others? Maitraha. Friendly relationship. Meaning a relationship of love. We must love everyone. Irrespective of whoever the other person is. Irrespective of how much ever wicked that person may be. The only relationship that is accepted by God is relationship of love. So it's a beautiful, verse by Bhatrhari. He defines who is a mitra. Mitra means friend. Who is a mitra? Papan nivarayati yo jayate hitaya guhyam cha guhati gunan prakati karoti apadgatam na jahati dadati kale Sanmitra lakshanamidam pravadanti santah. Sanmitra lakshanam idam. These are the characteristics of a good friend. Thus say the wise. So what are the characteristics? Papat nivarayati. Who is a good friend? Good friend is the one who will not allow the other person to commit any sin. Nivarayati. He discourages the other from doing sin. Yojayate hitaya. Whatever is good, he encourages that person. Guhyam cha guhati. He may have lot of weakness. He will not tell it to others. It is confidential. He keeps it a secret. Gunan prakati karoti. But whatever gunas are there in him, he tells everyone. Apadgatam na jahati. Whenever the other person is in trouble, this friend will never abandon him. Dadati kale. At times, whenever he is in difficulty, he gives whatever is needed at that appropriate time. Whether advice, or whether resources, money, etc. Sanmitra lakshanam idam. These are the characteristics of a good friend. Now this person is a very good friend of all. Ever ready to help others. Karunaha. Karunaha means he is very compassionate. Now remember, all these virtues he has gathered because of his sadhana. This has to be remembered. No one gains all these virtues by himself. He gains his virtues because of his greater vision which he has developed through his sadhana. What is a greater vision he has developed? World is nothing but an expression of God. All beings are children of God. We are all one. As pure consciousness, we are all one, but bodies may be different, minds may be different, but essentially we are all one. So this is that vision he is having, because of which all these traits, virtues become natural to him. Karunaha means compassion. He has great compassion for all, even to those who are abusing him, ill-treating him. He will have only compassion. How is it possible? See, suppose you are walking along the road and suddenly someone pushes you from behind and you fall down. What is the first reaction that comes? Anger, isn't it? Who is this fellow who has done this? And then you turn back and suddenly you find there is a blind man. Unknowingly he has done it. What is the first emotion that comes? Isn't it compassion? Poor fellow, unknowingly he has done it. Isn't it? In the same way, there is something called Jñāna-chakshu. Not physical chakshu, Jñāna-chakshu. It is only through Jñāna-chakshu you will see oneness. With Laukika chakshu you can see only differences. We are all different. Superficially it appears that we are all different and we are all independent also. Isn't it? Normally most of us, we are having only laukika-chakshu. There is no Jnana-chakshu at all. So therefore, what do you see? You see only differences, and vision of plurality will bring in all kinds of negativities like kama, krodha, lobha, etc. It is a vision of plurality which brings in negativities, and it is a vision of oneness which brings in all virtues. So now, this sadhaka, when someone is abusing him, what does he see? He sees him as a blind person. Not physically blind, but this Jnāna-chakshu is missing. He is hating me because he has not known the truth. Out of his ignorance, he is hating me. He is ill-treating me. So what is the first emotion that comes out of him? It will be only compassion. Poor fellow, he doesn't know. That's why Jesus Christ, when he was nailed to the cross, what did he say? Forgive him, O Lord. They don't know what they are doing. Compassion is natural for the wise. It is not that they develop compassion. As far as a sadhaka is concerned, he has to develop compassion. The moment that ill feeling comes against the one who has abused, a sadhaka must say, I am not perfect. The very fact that I am cursing him from within, externally I may appear to be a sadhu and all that, saintly one, not retaliating, but inside if that reaction is there, when you meditate you will come to know, the mind is continuously abusing that person. So what should a sadhaka say? Bhagavan, I am still immature. I have not yet evolved. Help me, O Lord, to develop these kinds of noble emotions. This is the way a sadhaka must develop karuna. Then nirmamaha. What is nirmamaha? Mamatva means mindness. Mine. This is mine. A sense of possessiveness. So what is the attitude which a sadhaka will have towards the world, objects, things, beings, etc.? None of them are mine. It belongs to God alone. The more you have this mamatvam, the more you will find the mind wandering. The moment you say something is mine, that very same moment there comes a responsibility to protect that which is mine. And the moment the responsibility to protect comes, the mind will go there. So what is the end result? End result is a wandering mind. The more and more possessive you are, the more and more you feel that it is mine. This person is mine, this thing is mine. The more and more the mind will try to, hold on to it. That is what is expressed as a wandering mind. But now the sadhaka, what does he say? O Lord, everything belongs to you. All my abilities, talents are yours. Whatever I have is your gift to me. As Puja Gurudev used to say, what you have is his gift to you. And what you do with what you have is your gift to him. So everything when you say, not just saying mechanically, Sab kuch tera kya lage mera. It is just not just saying it. You must feel it. And more that mamatva goes away, you will find the mind easily getting attracted towards God. Whatever I have it is his, and therefore he has a right to take it away at any time. This is the idea. He has a right. Health is his, so therefore he has the right to take away your health at any time. Abilities are his, so therefore he has a right. No grumbling when it is taken away. Mamatvam. Nirahankara, freedom from ahankara. Ahankara means what? A sense of self-importance. It is called ahankara. I am very important. That feeling. Nothing but ego. I am an important person. the more and more you feel that self-importance, the more and more you are cutting off yourself from the God-created world. The more and more you are creating misery for yourself. Greater the ahankara, greater will be the misery. An egoistic person is like a person full of blisters all over his body. Whatever contact he makes with the world, it will end up in pain. Full of blisters, just imagine. He can't lie down, he can't stand, he can't walk. And the worst part is, every time he is in pain, he blames the world. He doesn't say that it is my blister which is causing the pain. No. What will he say? He will point out fingers at others. This is what the egoistic person does. He insulted me, therefore I am disturbed. So therefore blame is someone else. Every time he points fingers at the world, and therefore there is no possibility for him to grow. Because if world is a problem, where should the correction be made? In the world, not in me. I am perfect. So the egoistic person never grows, never learns anything. His state of mind is either superiority complex or inferiority complex. Because there are only two kinds of people in this world. Who are highly intelligent than you, capable than you, or who are inefficient. So when he sees people with greater abilities, he becomes jealous. He has that inferiority complex. When he sees people who are having low abilities, he becomes arrogant, having superiority complex. You will find that all vices start from this one thing called ahankara. All vice. Any discussion, it will end up in argument with this egoistic person. Because he wants to win the argument. He wants to prove that I am right. I alone am right. Whatever I have understood is right. So therefore there is no possibility of any learning. And slowly this person becomes isolated. The world isolates that person. Because he has such a repelling personality, stinking personality, that no one wants to go anywhere near him. As Gurudev used to say, some people give happiness wherever they go, some whenever they go. Some people give happiness whenever they go. So everyone will try to avoid him. Any arrogant, egoistic personality is a stinking personality. No one likes him. He is always competitive, not cooperative. He will always try to compete and win. In all great people, the one virtue you will find is nirahankara. Humble they will be. Every field you will find great people, you will find this virtue. Sir Isaac Newton, one of the greatest scientists. So when he was lying on the deathbed, so people gathered. So someone asked, "Sir, you must be really proud. So many mysteries of universe you have unraveled." So Newton said, instead of feeling proud, I feel that I am a child who is just picking up seashells and pebbles on the seashore while the vast ocean remains undiscovered. That was his answer. What I know is nothing compared to what remains to be known. Same thing with Socrates also. So it was declared that Socrates is the wisest man in Athens, Greece. So the people gathered and asked him, "Sir, you have been declared the wisest man." Socrates said, "I know only one thing, that I know nothing." I know nothing. More and more you know, more and more you become wise. The more and more you come to know, I don't know anything. You become more and more humble. Saint Francis, one of the greatest saints of Christianity. So someone asked, "Sir, you don't have very beautiful looks, handsome looks. You don't have wealth. You don't have anything of that world. But still, how is it that so many people come and prostrate to you? What is that thing?" He said, "It's all because of grace of God." Then again this person asked, "Why is it that Bhagwan or the Lord has chosen only you to shower His grace?" Then Saint Francis said, "See, it is like this. Once, God wanted to show how powerful His grace is. So therefore He was looking for the most wretched person in the world. And He found me." No self-importance at all, no ego at all, so humble, childlike. Nirahankara. In fact, to develop this humility, you have to just be open to the world. Our own body, how much control do we have? The heart, the kidney, the liver, it's all functioning because of God's grace, isn't it? How the brain is functioning, we don't know. How even one cell is functioning in the body, we don't know. But what do we say? This action is mine, this idea is mine, that, this, etc. We are not even a speck of dust when we compare the huge cosmos. So if you are just open to this universe, in fact the universe is created in such a way that you can't develop any kind of self-importance. That's how we are created. But even then, see the human ability, creativity. Though he is worth nothing, he feels so much of self-importance. This is called Maya. Isn't it? Just face the reality and you will find ego cannot even exist. In fact, God has made the world to assist us in dropping the ego. So, nirahankaraha, free from ego. Sama dukkha sukhaha. Sama dukkha sukhaha, he is sama, equanimous in sukha as well as dukkha. Equanimous in sukha is almost possible, but being equanimous in dukkha is the real test. This is the time when we start saying, "God, you are cruel. Why only me?" etc. etc. comes. But a sadhaka will always try to keep his mind equanimous, especially during tragedies and difficulties in life, pains and sufferings in life. So this is the test of how true a sadhaka we are. How quickly we stop complaining, how quickly we accept it as a blessings from the Lord. Because whenever He is giving a pain, remember, there is a purpose. There is a message. He will not give pain just like that. Just like a mother will not give pain unnecessarily to the child. There is a purpose. The child may not understand, that's a different matter. So therefore his mind is samaha. Bhagavan, whatever you do is perfect. Sama dukkha sukha. As far as a siddha is concerned, he is also sama. Why is he sama? Because the joy he is experiencing from the world is so high that the dukkha of the world is insignificant. For a billionaire, spending 100 rupees is nothing, isn't it? For a yogi or for a Mahatma also, he is a billionaire with respect to the happiness and joy content. He is a billionaire. So these little worldly pains, etc., they don't, even death is nothing for them. That's how you find Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, etc. Smilingly they embraced death. Samaha. Sama dukkha sukha kshami, forgiving. Forgiving. How did this sadhaka develop this ability to forgive? Sadhaka develops the ability to forgive because he finds a mountain heap of imperfection in himself. The moment I come to know that Bhagavan, I am the greatest sinner, I think, in this world. Whenever I look into my mind, I see only filth. The moment I am aware of the negativities in me, will I have the guts to find negativities in others or blame others for their negativity? Not possible. It is only the extroverted mind who are not able to forgive. So forgiveness becomes natural to a person who has found enough negativity in oneself. Everyone has to evolve step by step, slowly. We are all evolving from tamas to rajas to sattva. You remember the first day lecture? From tamasic level, the person has to go to, what is the term used? Rajasically tamasic. Next one is tamasically rajasic. Next one is rajasic. Next one is sattvically rajasic. Next one is rajasically sattvic. Next is sattvic. Then go beyond, isn't it? Now this much will take thousands of births, not in one birth. I forgot to mention that point. How much time does it take? Slowly. The evolution is very slow process. Once you come to know this, you will never feel like blaming someone for their imperfection. Everyone has to go slowly only. No one suddenly becomes a Mahatma. No, not possible. Impossible. Have you seen a child how it learns to walk? It's a very small example. But that example, the child is first lying on its back. That is the way the child lies, isn't it? From there, the first major step is a flip. Learning to lie down on the chest. Now that's a great achievement for the child. For us it may be nothing, but for the child it is almost 200% achievement. Now suddenly the world has changed for the child. Now you will find the child experimenting this again and again. And then what happens? Slowly the child starts balancing on the four hands and try to lift. Then the child comes to know, lot of strength is necessary. Isn't it? Hands and legs have to be strong, otherwise you can't lift. Now it's a new piece of information. Till now the child never knew that. Now slowly the child learns to walk on the four. And then he finds that he has raised a little and there is a danger of fall. So slowly he has to balance himself. So the technique of balancing also the child learns. Then slowly the child learns to sit. Now sitting is risky because the supports are less. And sometimes the child falls back and hits the head and there is a crying. So painfully the child evolves painfully. So now the child learns to sit. Now slowly child holds on to some sofa etc. and tries to stand. And when the child stands, suddenly he is scared because it is too high. Again he sits there. And moreover the legs needs more strength. So he holds the sofa, sits there. Holds the sofa, sits there. And slowly he gains the strength. Now what does the child do? Holding the sofa, the child slowly walks. Holding. At the next stage. And suddenly sometimes he loses the balance and again fallen. Every pain makes him more and more alert. More and more alert. Remember when he was lying flat, no alertness was necessary because there was no cause of fall. Isn't it? Now the child becomes more and more alert. More and more alert. Then the child takes another great adventure. What is that? From one sofa to another. Small distance, without support. Isn't it? And then a time comes when he is able to balance. Not only he is able to balance, he is able to run around and play without even bothering about walking, etc. So now if you see the stages, it didn't happen suddenly. The moment the child is born, immediately he started jumping around. No. Isn't it? Slowly, 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 slowly. So in the same way, we are also evolving slowly. So when you find people who are culturally imperfect and impure, what is the feeling which you must have? Forgiveness and compassion. A sadhaka is very much aware of this because he knows how much he is putting forth effort to consciously evolve. Till the sadhaka stage, you are not consciously evolving. Nature helps you to evolve. From plants to animals, etc., etc. Nature is helping you evolve. But the moment you become a sadhaka, you are consciously evolving. And when you evolve consciously, you know how much price you have to pay for every step of evolution. So naturally what happens? You develop tremendous amount of compassion for others who are imperfect. So that forgiveness comes automatically. Because you have also gone through that stage. That stage which the fellow is going through now. So naturally, this quality called kshama or forgiveness becomes natural to him. Of course, for a siddha, it is natural. Rishi Dayanand of Arya Samaj, he was poisoned and killed. His own cook, he added slow poison. But when that Dayanand of Arya Samaj I am speaking about, when he came to know that his own cook has added this poison, and it was already late, he was dying, you know what he did? He just called his cook, gave him money, gave him a plane ticket to Nepal and said, as early as possible you must leave, because if my followers come to know that you have done this, they will kill you. This is called compassion. It is natural, it is not something developed, it is natural. Kshami satatam santushtaha. Satatam santushtaha, ever contented. Ever contented. The moment you start depending more and more on God, you become a master of the world. You become a master. The moment you become a slave of God, you become the master of the world. The moment you become a slave of the world, you remain a slave of the world. Become a slave of God, then you become a master. Why master? Because you gain such joy, such happiness, such peace, such contentment that the mind will never wander anywhere else. Satatam santushta. Eternally contented, ever contented. Contented in the self. Atmanyeva atmana tushtaha. What mind wants is happiness. That happiness it seeks from the world. Such a person who seeks happiness from the world is called a sensual person, an extroverted person, a worldly person. But through sadhana, when a person comes to know that happiness, the source of happiness is within, then that mind turns inward. And when that mind gains the higher joys from within, that mind stops depending on the world. Thus, he becomes a master of the world. Satatam santushta, ever contented. Who is the richest man in this world? Richest man is the one who is the most contented, not the one who has lot of wealth. Who is the poorest man in this world? Even though he may be a billionaire, if he still has the craving for more and more, he is the poorest man. So in that sense, he is the richest man. Satatam santushta. Gurudev used to give the equation H equal to desires fulfilled by desires entertained. DF by DE. H, happiness. So how do we try to attain happiness? By fulfilling our desires, isn't it? So how much happy are we? How much desires you have fulfilled, that much happy you are, in the worldly sense. So DF by DE, desires fulfilled by desires entertained. Now what is the condition of this fellow? This sadhaka or this jnani is the one who has no desires at all. Why no desires? Desires is Desires are the symptoms of the mind to gain happiness. Now this mind is already happy, so there are no desires. So when there are no desires, what happens to this equation? df by de, desire entertained equal to 0, h becomes infinite. No desires. Very nice equation it is. What are the worldly people trying to do? They are trying to make the numerator more, not paying attention to the denominator. Every day some new product come in the TV. The moment the advertisement comes, DE is increasing. This fellow is not knowing that. I want this, I want that. And he is trying to fulfill it. So he is only paying attention to the numerator. The yogi or a sadhaka pays attention to the denominator. Satatam santushtaha. Yogi yatatma. And because he is satatam santushtaha, he is yatatma. Perfect control over his mind, his senses, etc. Perfect control. Gurudev used to say, if you don't feed your dog properly, that dog will go to the street gutters to eat the filth. Because you are not feeding the dog properly, the dog will go out. But suppose you are feeding your dog with imported biscuits, most costliest biscuits, most tasty biscuits, will the dog leave you? No. Dog will ever remain with you, isn't it? Mind is also like that. Mind wants happiness. You are not feeding the higher happiness of devotion, of meditation, etc. So naturally, where will the mind go? That starved mind will go outside and seek happiness from the sense pleasures. But the moment you give this joy, the mind will ever remain with you. It will never become extrovert. You are living in the world, but the mind will not be tempted by anything of the world. So therefore, the mind remains under your control. The sense organs remain under your control. The world can never tempt you again. Once Socrates was found. He had gone to some mall, So he was seeing so many items kept in that glass shelf. And they keep it to attract people, The glass thing is made and it will be kept inside. So the moment you look, you are attracted. So Socrates was just going through and watching everything. So that salesperson there, he came, "Sir, what do you want? I have seen that, for a long time you are standing here. What is it that you are searching for? Why are you standing here for such a long time?" Socrates said, "I just want to know how much happy I am without all this." How much happy I am. I'm just congratulating myself. Come on, sabash, sabash. Yatatma. How has he become that? Because he is dridha nishchayaha. Dridha nischaya means firm resolve, man with clear understanding of life. Very clear he is. What is truth, what is not. What is happiness, what is not. Where to seek happiness, where not to seek happiness. Everything is clear. And so therefore, whenever he takes a resolve, whenever he wants to do something, his mind, his intellect, his senses, all are supporting him. So whatever resolve he makes in his mind, it comes true. His entire personality is focused when he wants to do something. Dridha nischaya. And that dridha nischaya has come because of clarity in thinking, clear understanding, because of his sadhana. Dridha nischaya. In us what happens? In us it is just the reverse. Mind says one thing, intellect says something else. So there is a tug of war inside. Mind says, "I love this, let us eat it." Intellect says, "Don't eat it, it is not good for you." And there is a tug of war inside. The famous example given is diabetic patients tempted by sweets. There is so much of tug of war inside. You know something is right, but you know that should not be done. You know something is wrong, but you are tempted to do it. This is the tug of war. So there is no dridha nischaya there. Mind is fickle, torn apart inside. But whereas this Mahatma, he is very clear. If he has to do something, mind and intellect, they are one. That's why he's called Sthita Prajna. Integrated man is. His entire personality becomes integrated whenever he wants to do something. There is no confusion inside. There is no inner fight. Remaining we will see tomorrow. Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschat Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha